Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Jones. I'm here busily teaching summer school, and today I'm going to show you a handy way to teach nonfiction text structures. But first I want to talk about where nonfiction text structures fit in with the students understanding, having a deep understanding of nonfiction text. So basically, our understanding really starts with, or our students' understanding really starts with nonfiction text features. Nonfiction text features are obvious to the student. They're the things like the captions, the pictures, the section headings, the bold words, index and glossary, and those sorts of things. That is our students' first line of defense on figuring out what this nonfiction text has to say. But it's not an end, it's a means to an end. And keep in mind that understanding nonfiction text features, that is a lower order thinking skill. It's basically, it's obvious, it's something that's concrete, and so that's why it's a great place to start, but it's not where we want students to end up. There's also the issue that all nonfiction texts do not have text features. Especially I'm finding in assessments, oftentimes the nonfiction texts there do not have text features. So we can't teach our students to rely on that. Really the next place that we need to go is where we're going to be focusing on today, and that's nonfiction text structures. That's how the author organizes the text. And now we're going to start to get into our higher order thinking skills. The nonfiction text structure students that they're going to have to infer, they're going to have to try to figure it out. But even that isn't a means to an end. Again, where is this leading us? Well, knowing the structure helps us to be able to summarize. And why is it important to summarize? Well, the ability to summarize is the ability to take the whole text and boil it down to its most important parts. And really, our text structure is our most important parts. So students that are able to summarize really are able to understand what is the most important pieces of information that the author is giving me. But even that is still a means to an even bigger end. That's going to help us to find the main idea. The main idea is kind of like a super small version of a summary. A main idea statement is usually one sentence or even one word about what the topic is about. Even that, though, is not the end. Eventually, this is our goal. We want our students to be able to understand the author's purpose. That's what all of these skills are leading to. And nonfiction text structure is a really big part of that. And of course, in the high school level and the college level, then you're also looking at author bias and all those sorts of things. But it begins way here with our lower order thinking skills, our right there kind of thinking skills, and infers us to this point. So I'm always looking for fun and exciting ways to help students remember kind of dry topics like nonfiction text structure. And this is the way I introduce nonfiction text structure. I have them trace their hand in their interactive student notebook. And there are 5 nonfiction text structures. How handy is that? And each finger helps you remember the different ones. So let's start with your thumb. What does your thumb do? Well, your thumb, you can give a thumbs up, yeah, fantastic. Or you can give a thumbs down, no, boo, hiss. So our thumb helps us remember the text structure of problem, solution. Problem, solution. You got a problem, you find a solution. Problem, solution, text structure. Next we have our index finger. Now of course our index finger is great for pointing, but it's also what we use for counting. And so our index finger reminds us of the sequence text structure. Some people call this chronological order. Okay, so we got problem solution and we got chronological order. Then we have the middle finger. Now, up to this point, students have seen me focus on one finger at a time, and so I always get some titters when we get to the middle finger. This is how I demonstrate the middle finger. No, I don't hold up my middle finger. But we do have a little discussion of how if you hold up that middle finger to someone, you're going to cause something to happen. And something's going to happen to you if you do that. So our middle finger helps us remember cause and effect. Okay? So, and that's how I show it. Again, I just kind of grab my middle finger and I wiggle it. All right, our next finger, most students know, is the wedding ring finger that we put a wedding ring on. And when I first introduced it, it was really handy. I was married and my paraprofessional was not. And so we use this to remind us about compare, contrast. Married, not married. You got a ring on it, you're married. You don't have a ring on it, you're not married. So that ring finger is compare, contrast. And then last but not least, we have the pinky finger. Now, I've chosen this text structure for the pinky finger because I find that when students are reading a text and I ask them to tell me the text feature, they always want to say this text structure. And it's actually an extremely rare text structure. I actually want them to go through all the other text structures before they get to this one because it is so rare. And that is description. And I tell them that's why I made it the pinky finger, because I actually want you to look at that one very last of all. So this is a little graphic that I have them create. And then I have them go one step further, and I give them little sentence starters on how they would start a summary of those different types of text. That's what makes summarizing nonfiction so difficult, is really your summary needs to follow the text structure. And so this is something that one of my students created in summer school this year. Not sure how well you can see it. Her hand is in highlighter. And she's done them all in different colors. And then she's got the different sentence starters next to each one. And one strategy that I have kids use when they are trying to figure out which one to use in a summary is I tell them, well, start by using one of them, and if that is the text structure, it'll be extremely easy to keep going, and if it's not the right text structure, you won't be able to continue the sentence. So these sentence starters are actually on my Teachers Pay Teacher site, and for 48 hours after I post this video, it is going to be free. And after that, it's going to cost you a whopping $1. So if you're interested in that, you certainly may pop over to Teachers Pay Teachers, or you may just enjoy this free little activity. So I hope you learned something. I'd love to see your comments below if this was something that was helpful to you in your class. So have a great day, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.